doesn't it kind of feel like, maybe looking back at history, one of the most notable things is people were reading more, right? Literacy rates, people were really, really just reading. And today it's just like, people hardly ever read. And I kind of have a theory about that. If I should introduce that now.
Please introduce that now.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, man, but in school, I'm in high school right now. I know that you're in college, UCI, but the thing that I have a problem with in school is you have to read certain books, and it's like they give you these books in, like, your language arts class, and you might not necessarily even like them, but they force you to read them. And when you're forced to read something that you don't even like, it starts to associate a negative emotion to reading. So then whenever you think about reading, you think of, all the negative and all this sucks. And that really just makes people not read. I think that if we let people read what they want to and they get satisfaction from it, if you read a book that can solve a problem, and you read it and then you go and solve the problem, you see that, wow, this stuff actually works. Knowledge is powerful. You're going to have a more positive feeling towards reading. But I just feel like the school system, by them forcing it, it's really starting to just build a negative association with reading. And really, they start that from an early age, like first grade. But I don't know. Did you like reading books in high school, or what are your thoughts on?
Well, so I remember in middle school we had this like AR program where you would like select which books you could read,
by points,
and then you'd get points associated with that. And naturally there were just some kids that didn't really like that, based on the whole point system. But it was interesting because I got to select the books that I wanted to read, right? Mm-hmm. Reading for pleasure versus reading for intellect, right? And when you read for pleasure, as you age, you tend to read for more intellectual things for pleasure, right?
Definitely.
But for sure in high school, you're a little bit more, you can't really read the books that you want to read. And so that conditions you. And even in college, it's a little bit different because you get to pursue the major that you want to pursue. And like, obviously, like there's some philosophy books that you may not like as other, or whatever major you decide to pursue. And then textbooks are, something completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, I think, what you're getting at 100%. But interestingly enough, what do you think about the whole like alternative? Like, what's the alternative, right? So people aren't reading; instead, they're going on their phone.
Yeah.
Right? And they're looking at all these things. I know before I think we talked about and the whole entertainment thing, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you mentioned the phones. I have a lot to say about that, but it just literally hit me right now. It's like, it's not the reading that people hate, because people are reading constantly on their phones, right? It's what they're reading, though. It's what they're reading. It's not reading. It's what they're reading. I mean, people are on Instagram reading tons of comments, reading the text posts. They're reading articles. They're reading text messages, all that stuff. So we're constantly reading all day. But it's like we're not reading things that make us think or challenge us or stimulate us. Maybe some do. But it just feels like a majority doesn't. And the other thing too is, it's like, not to get off topic, but it just feels like there's a stigma around reading, like it's not cool or whatever. But to me, that's crazy, right? Because reading, right, the whole idea that reading is not cool is crazy. And the reason why is because, it's cool to be wealthy and to be successful and all that, but it's not cool to put in the work. And the work is reading. A lot of the times. I mean, I look at some of the richest people in the world, and they read like crazy. I mean, I think Warren Buffett says that he reads like 500 pages a day.
Yeah.
500 pages a day. That's more than some people have read in their, last decade probably,
Yeah.